All right, great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Colin. I'm the Executive Director and General Counsel of Circulate San Diego. Excited to have so many people here to learn a little bit more about a report that we just published, Home Run for Homes, about the success of San Diego's Enhanced Affordable Homes Bonus Program. As some folks may be aware, Circulate's been involved in advocating for this program, through when it was adopted first in 2016, and then through being extended throughout the state of California in 2020 through a bill that Lorena Gonzalez authored, AB 2345, that we drafted and co-sponsored. So we're really excited about this. We had a press conference about it, the release of the report with Mayor Todd Gloria last Monday. But we love to do things like this to broaden the reach of the report and be able to have our supporters and members hear more about the work that we're doing and hear from the source. So I'm really pleased to introduce my colleague, Jesse O'Sullivan, who's the report's lead author and Circulate's policy counsel, who will be leading the remainder of the presentation. So thanks, everybody. And I think we'll have opportunities. Jesse can share with the Q&A opportunities will be during this presentation as well. Great. So with that, Jesse.
Thanks, Colin. So as Colin mentioned, our report is Home Run for Homes. It tracks the success of San Diego's Affordable Homes Bonus Program from 2016 through 2020. And I'll go ahead and do a presentation on it and then answer questions at the end. You can drop questions into the chat box at any time, and that's where we'll take our questions from. So to give you an introduction on the Affordable Homes Bonus Program, what it is a program that allows developers to build more homes than the underlying zoning would allow, as long as they set aside a certain portion of those homes as affordable for low-income San Diego. There's been an explosion in usage of this program. 44% of all homes entitled in 2020 were in projects that use the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. And as Colin mentioned, it served as the basis for AB 2345, authored by Lorena Gonzalez, which brought it statewide. So the Affordable Homes Bonus Program was enacted in 2016, and it built upon California's existing density bonus law. And so you can see in this illustration here, which, by the way, shout out to Alfred Twu, who did all of our illustrations. They're a YIMBY and an artist in the Bay Area. But the old density bonus allowed a project to build up to 35% more than the underlying zoning would allow if they built 11% affordable to very low income families. So the way the density bonus works is that there are sort of a table of different options. And so you can build affordable at several different levels. So you can build affordable to very low income or low income. If you build affordable at a low income level, then you have to build more units affordable at that level. So in general, what market rate developers prefer to do is to build units at the very low income level because there are less units required at that level. So the California density bonus law with the 35% bonus existed for many, many years prior to the adoption of the Affordable Homes Bonus Program, but it was rarely used because it just didn't work for developers. It didn't pencil. And so the Affordable Homes Bonus Program created this what's labeled as the AB 2345 density bonus, which allows up to a 50% density bonus with 15% of the base density affordable to very low income families. So for a base zoning of 100 units, a developer could build 50 bonus market rate units on top of that 100 if they built 15 units affordable to very low income families. So Circulate's done 4 reports prior to this one that have involved the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. So our report, Transit-Oriented Development, made a bunch of recommendations. Among them was doing an enhanced density bonus that ended up becoming the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. Our next report, Early Win for Affordable Homes Bonus Program, showed that in the first months of the program, there was a surge in use of it. The next report was called Good Bargain, and just looked at the data over a longer time period. And then Equity and Climate for Homes really focused on the equity and climate benefits of the program. So turning to those benefits, the first benefit that the Affordable Homes Bonus Program offers is an equity benefit. So the burden of high housing costs disproportionately falls on low-income people and people of color. So building more affordable housing directly impacts the residents of those affordable homes, meaning that, you know, often people are spending more than half of their take-home income on rent. And so if building these units gives people a place to live that they can afford. On top of that, building market rate housing helps lower prices overall. So it doesn't directly help low-income families the way that the subsidized affordable units do, but it does have an overall effect on the market of lowering prices. Most market rate developers include very low-income homes in their project, so it's helping the families most in need. And then on top of that, in our previous analysis from Equity and Climate for Homes, we found that between August 2016 and April 2018, 63% of Affordable Homes Bonus Program projects were entitled in highest resource areas according to the TCAC opportunity area. So what that means is that we're building subsidized affordable housing in neighborhoods that have access to good jobs and good schools. And in fact, we're building those affordable homes in the same buildings as market rate homes. And so the residents of those affordable homes have access to all of the same amenities that the market rate neighbors have. So this is a really important way of decreasing residential segregation and providing opportunities to the residents of those homes. The next benefit of the program is a climate benefit. So again, in that same time period between August 2016 and April 2018, 97% of all Affordable Homes Bonus Program projects were in transit priority areas near high quality transit. So this gives the residents of those projects the opportunity to make more climate friendly choices because they have access to transit. It's also by allowing more density, the city's creating more compact land uses. And those more compact land uses are more friendly not only for transit, but also for biking and walking. And so residents of these dense projects have more opportunity to make climate-friendly transportation choices. Of particular importance is that low-income residents are more likely to use transit than their higher-income counterparts. So locating affordable housing near transit is an especially good way to increase ridership, and that's exactly what the Affordable Homes Bonus Program has done. So the third benefit is that it's just a good deal for cities. So the Affordable Homes Bonus Program creates market rate and affordable homes at little cost to government. Within mixed income projects from 2016 to 2020, the Affordable Homes Bonus Program produced 462 affordable homes. The cost to construct a affordable home in a 100% affordable project in California is about $500,000. So the value that the Affordable Homes Bonus Program has created there is roughly $230 million. It's true that there are some subsidies that can be available to mixed income developments, but for the most part, that's done without public subsidy. The Affordable Homes Bonus Program also allows 100% affordable projects to spread their fixed costs across more units. At our press conference last week, the mayor called that the Costco effect. So I'm going to take that and use it. But basically, the idea is if you build in bulk, if you buy in bulk, if you build in bulk, then it's cheaper per unit. And so this rendering is a rendering of the Mid-City Affordable Project, which is where we hosted our press conference last week. The base zoning for this project is for 130 homes. Because of the Affordable Homes Bonus Program, that project was able to build 195 homes. So not only is that just a lot more people who are now going to be able to live there, it also means that the project could be built more efficiently. So turning to the data, Affordable Homes Bonus Program production has had a clear upward trend from 2016 through 2020, as you can see here. There's also a really significant increase in deed-restricted homes within Affordable Homes Bonus Program projects. Part of that, there's just been an increase in the number of 100% affordable projects that have been created. Looking at overall housing entitlements from 2010 through 2020, you can see that there's a clear upward trend across that whole period, and that there's an even steeper upward trend for the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. So the use of the Affordable Homes Bonus Program is increasing even faster than the overall housing entitlement. You can also see, as I mentioned, that the deed-restricted housing entitlements have gone up, and in 2020 were higher than in any year in the past decade. There's been a lot of increased funding, but the Affordable Homes Bonus Program has also helped out by allowing more efficient construction, as I mentioned. So here we're looking just at deed-restricted housing entitlements. As I mentioned, there's been a big increase. And another thing that we've noticed is that at this point, most deed-restricted homes are located within projects that use the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. So what that means is that most 100% affordable projects are using the Affordable Homes Bonus Program, because why wouldn't they? Because it's sort of automatically available if your project is already going to be 100% affordable. So while not every project might want that extra density, the Affordable Homes Bonus Program also has incentives which allow developers to get out of a height requirement or a setback requirement or some other requirement, which allows them to build their project more efficiently. So for 100% affordable projects, even if they don't want that extra density, they can use the program to get out of some other zoning requirement that might make their project more difficult. One concern that we anticipated when we were doing this project is that smaller cities might think that density programs like the Affordable Homes Bonus Program work for big cities like San Diego, but they're not going to work out for smaller cities because they're really for big projects. And what our data found was that that really wasn't true. There's a broad variety of project sizes for which the Affordable Homes Bonus Program works. About 30% of all production of all projects were projects that were 15 units or less. The 100% affordable projects tended to be larger because that's just the size of those kinds of projects. But it was a really positive sign that the Affordable Homes Bonus Program is something that can work for a variety of project types and for a variety of cities. There were some data issues that we had. So we collected our data from the Housing Element Annual Reports, which are annual reports that the City of San Diego makes to the State Department of Housing and Community Development. And those reports sort of give an update on what housing production was in the city. And so what we found was that there were some internal inconsistencies within those reports. The numbers just weren't adding up right. So we did our best to fix those errors. We had a lot of conversations with the city about how we can best report that. But unfortunately, we probably were not able to correct all of the errors. And the lack of accurate, accessible data really impacts the ability to track housing production. For this report, our main conclusion is that the Affordable Homes Bonus Program has resulted in a lot of production. And so I think we can, based on the data we have, we can really safely say that conclusion. But if we wanted to make a more fine-grained analysis that compared projects to each other or compared programs, it would be hard to do with the data that currently exists. We also had some policy recommendations based on our data. So the first of those recommendations is that the California legislature should continue to expand the state density bonus law. They've already done that with AB 2345, which took San Diego's model and spread it statewide. And that sort of incremental approach of continuously trying to make the program a little bit better is an approach that the city of San Diego has taken and the state has taken, and that we think is really effective. And so the state should look at more ways that they can improve on the existing density bonus law. Local governments should do the same thing. Furthermore, not every local government has adopted an ordinance that implements the state density bonus law. Legally, a developer can use the density bonus law even if a city hasn't adopted one, but there are all sorts of barriers that cities can put up to try to stop projects that, even if they legally should be allowed, the cities don't like. So adopting an ordinance that implements the density bonus law really sends a signal to developers that they can go ahead and use it. Another innovation that San Diego in particular has adopted is having ministerial approvals, which means that the community engagement process happens when the community plan is adopted and when laws are adopted. And then after that, a developer can go to the city and say, I want to build this project. It conforms with the zoning, it conforms with the density bonus law or the affordable homes bonus program, and just get those permits without ever going through a discretionary process. That gives much more certainty to developers and shortens the time frame. And so that's a really important way of increasing production of affordable and market rate housing. The last recommendation is that parking reform should continue. This isn't obviously connected to the affordable homes bonus program, but there was a bill last year, AB 1401, which would have eliminated parking minimums near high quality transit throughout California. One of the concerns that some affordable housing advocates voiced is that developers would no longer have an incentive to use the state density bonus law if the parking requirements were eliminated, because some developers were using incentives and from the state density bonus law to reduce their parking requirements. What we found is that in 2019, San Diego eliminated parking requirements for multifamily projects near high quality transit. And in 2020, there was a huge increase in use of the affordable homes bonus program. So we think what our data shows is that that concern isn't borne out by the data, that if parking reform continues, then there's not likely to be a reduction in usage of the state density bonus law. Wanted to give a quick thank you to our sponsors. These are people who contributed financially to the project, and many of them also served on our advisory committee. Our advisory committee was made up of those sponsors plus many other groups that we invited to participate. Their input was very valuable in making this a better report and a better project. So thank you to all of them. And that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. You can also email me at that email address, and that's the web address where you can find the full report. Are there options to expand the bonus program in San Diego as well? Yes, and in fact, San Diego has recently done some of that. So San Diego sort of proceeded through several different avenues which you can use to increase your density. There's the Complete Communities program, which is more based on with a certain floor area ratio or FAR, you can build as much density within that as you want. So that's one thing. There also have been bonuses that were in the Homes for All of Us package. I'm not sure, not all of these made it into the final project, but bonuses for producing ADA units, bonuses for having multifamily units. Another option is to do a bonus that for moderate income units. So after you max out the existing density bonus, you could get an additional bonus on top of that for building a certain number of deed restricted units that are affordable at a moderate income. Rachel Short.
And Tim Hunter had his hand up too.
Hi, thanks, Colin, and thanks, Jesse. Really appreciate all the hard work that you guys have put into this, and Circulate's continuing work on this program. I think it's a model for policy organizations like yours. It's helping to kind of keep San Diego at the forefront as a city that is creating innovation. And as a lawyer who works for clients in this area, we're continuing to see new interest in San Diego from people who are really intrigued and attracted to this program. I was wondering, Jesse, if you could add a little bit more detail to some of the data inconsistencies that you saw. Just kind of explaining, are we talking about labeling of projects, and whether you've had any productive conversations with anyone at the city about trying to kind of clean some of that up? As you guys probably know, in recent years, the state has tried to require more data submission at the state level, and to allow HCD to track data better about housing production, and also to allow the public to really have access to that information and to be able to compare across jurisdictions. So it'd be great if you could just kind of explain a little bit more, because I was not aware of that, although I guess I don't find it terribly surprising. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate the question. So the data issues, there were sort of several problems that we encountered. One was, the first one that I noticed was, so we looked at the housing element annual report for 2020, and in that report was listed a total number of homes, of affordable and market rate homes that had used the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. And then there were also listed every project that used it. And so we put all that in a spreadsheet, added it up, and got a different number than what was listed on the Affordable Homes Bonus Program. So that was the first internal inconsistency we found, was that just taking the same data from the same report and adding it up, we got a different total than what they got when they totaled it. There were some other, I encountered some projects that showed that it used the Affordable Homes Bonus Program that only had 2 units in it, and you can't do that. You need to have at least 5 units for that to work out. So there were a few projects that we had to investigate further because of that. The city was very forthcoming and helpful in the process of trying to figure out what the errors are. And based on our conversations with them, they're interested in improving their system overall. But in the meantime, it is, there are definitely problems in the data.
And just to share, Tim, and those who are interested, this kind of data problem exists probably through every jurisdiction in the United States. And the big difference is that in California, there is an actual obligation to publish it and to be measured by it. And as Tim mentioned, the state of California has made some efforts to try to monitor this more closely. And so we are going to. We had some preliminary conversations that we'll follow up. We are planning to follow up and sort of share some of our what we learned and invite the states to keep better track and to make sure that the jurisdictions are held accountable. And then the other piece I'll just share too is that we as Jesse mentioned, we've done a number of reports on this in the past, and they've all had to rely on very different sort of data sets that we had to cobble together. One data set that we did, we actually had to have a volunteer visually inspect paper files that had been stored under a Qualcomm stadium. And that was what we had to do to collect the data, which is just, you can't make thoughtful public policy if that's the kind of hoops you have to jump through in order to know whether or not your policy is working. So we're confident that the data that we were able to finally put together was, representative of a very broad positive change in production of usage, but it shouldn't be us having to do a bunch of this work to find this out. We want policymakers to be able to find this information themselves in-house and to be able to make thoughtful choices based on that. And so that's something that we're going to be advocating for, and hopefully is one of the positive outcomes of this report.
We have a couple more questions in the chat. Rachel Graham says, all this sounds like wonderful news, and I've been seeing a lot of positive press. What criticisms are you facing following the release of the report? I'll be honest, I haven't got many. I'm sure there are people who are critical of it and don't like it, but I haven't heard from them yet, so that's nice. Harry asks whether we can share the next reports that we're working on. I'll leave that to Colin to, yeah, okay. So we have our next report that we're hoping to release sometime this summer, maybe fall, is going to be called Fast Bus, and it's going to be about making the bus go faster. So that's excited for that report, be really improving the basic service of the bus, which is our most fundamental transit service. And then the next report after that will be called Making the Most of the Mid-Coast, which it will be looking at. So we've made this $2 billion transit investment in the Mid-Coast. How can we make sure that we're properly connecting it for feeder buses, for bikes, for pedestrians, and how are we making sure that the land uses around the Mid-Coast really maximize the use of that investment? Michael Donovan asked, are you seeing a realistic spread of unit sizes from SRO to family sizes, 3 or 4 bedrooms? Unfortunately, that data is not included in the housing element annual reports. And so that was sort of beyond the scope of this report. So I'm not sure.
I think it's probably fair to say, though, that even with even though we don't have that data in that particular report, it's you see more smaller apartments being produced overall. That tends to be what the market wants. There's a variety of reasons, both market reasons, policy reasons, for that to be the case. And there's been some efforts by the city of San Diego to try to shift some of that with some incentives to build more family units, but I'm confident that's still a continuing challenge. So we don't have enough production of that, but we also don't have enough production of the small units either. So it's a real we need more units all around to serve the diverse population in the region.
Tim asked whether we were able to identify why there was a dip in production in 2019. I think it was likely just an anomaly in the pipeline. We asked some developers about that, and that was pretty much what people thought. Anybody else have any questions?
Maybe Jesse, I'll add to the criticisms that the criticism question. We haven't had any sort of negative feedback about this most recent report, but we have heard some feedback in the past around some of our advocacy around the bonus program, and it's mostly from people who really don't like the idea. They don't like two things. They don't like the idea of more homes, right? They just like, we think it's a success that the program is generating more homes, and some people don't share that view, and they would like to see fewer homes, or at least fewer homes in their backyard. And then I think related to that too is that one of the advantages of this program is that it allows for projects to be streamlined, to allow for extra capacity or extra forgiveness from some requirements like setback requirements or unit limitations, and that kind of forgiveness can be granted by right, ministerially, without a big public process, without a big to-do, without an extra vote, without having to go to a community planning group, without having to have a vote of the council, and that's a big part of why the projects are using it and why it's generating more units. But some people don't like that change, and they want to be able to nitpick every little element of a project coming through in their neighborhood. And so this program changes that dynamic, and so some people are unhappy about that. I think we've heard more of that kind of feedback earlier on than we're hearing today. I think in large part because people are recognizing that old way of doing business wasn't working, and it was resulting in fewer homes being produced than what the market called for, and now we're in a situation where I think there's a growing understanding that if we're going to meet the affordability challenges of our region, we're going to have to do things differently. So, so that's, I think, the nature of the primary nature of the criticism that's been received on the program. But it seems to be that kind of criticism is going out of fashion as people have come to recognize that programs like these are really what it takes to be able to house more people.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. This will go up on YouTube, and you can feel free to email me if you have any questions.